dealership and commercial properties. The one-time plumber office is located at 509 South Lehigh Highway, and their number is 928-267-3411.
And we'd like to thank One Tom Plumber for sponsoring our KRIM Community Spotlight program. Good morning, Rim Country. Chris Higgins in the studio here at Sawmill Theaters, and hope you're having a great Tuesday morning. It is a cold one out there, so bundle up, and the wind, I'm not sure if that is going to be blowing all day, but boy, when it is blowing, it is cold. So again, bundle up, but it is nice that it's sunny. So on this morning's program, we are going to be talking about giving blood donations with Vitalant. In the studio to share about Vitalant and blood donations is Mark Waypa. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
And on the phone we have Sue Thew. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning.
Thank you both for joining us this morning to talk about blood donations. And I'm sure, boy, there's just a lot of information to get out there, so really appreciate you both joining this morning, sharing this with everyone listening and watching. If you're not watching, know that you can watch our Facebook Live on our KRIM Radio Facebook page. So first of all, I want to say thank you for the blood drives that are done up here to collect blood to help those that are in need of blood.
Well, thanks, Chris. Thanks for having us. We are so excited to be here. The Payson community is so giving and so generous with their time and their volunteerism, and we just love coming up here to do blood drives 4 times a year, for a big community drive, but we also do a number of other smaller drives around the community through the year. So we're just really excited to be here, and thanks for giving us an opportunity to come on and talk about blood donation.
That's great. You're so welcome. First, for those that are not familiar with Vitalant, maybe they're new to the area, new to Arizona, or new to giving blood. They just have never given blood before. Can you tell us a little bit about Vitalant?
Sure. Well, Vitalant is the largest nonprofit blood collection group in the state of Arizona. We also operate in 26 states across the United States. The blood bank in Arizona has been known by a number of different names over the years. Many of your donors may have previously donated here with United Blood Services. That name was changed to Vitalant a few years ago, but we are still the same organization providing the vast majority of the blood supply for Arizona hospitals. We currently serve about 92 or 93% of the hospitals as the sole provider in Arizona of their blood transfusion needs, and that does include our local Banner Payson Regional Medical Center here, where we do provide all of the blood that they need for procedures and emergencies at the hospital.
So people might ask or might wonder, where does my blood go? When I give blood, does it stay right here in the community, or where does it go? So how does that work?
Yeah, it does stay here in the community. In Arizona, we need about 600 units of blood every single day just to meet the needs of patients, planned surgeries, critical incidents that happen across the state. So since we are such a large provider of blood for Arizona hospitals, chances are almost 100% that blood donated here at these drives stays in Arizona to help patients in needs and other patients that need blood. Sue, do you have something to add to that?
Yes, I'd love to just kind of take it to the next level as far as, we are one of the nation's largest blood providers, and of course, since we serve hospitals in so many states, each of us kind of works regionally, and the blood donated in Arizona will generally go to one of 62 hospitals throughout Arizona. We also service Southern Nevada, so there may be some blood that goes to our fellow hospitals in Southern Nevada up through Las Vegas, but certainly the most efficient way to manage the blood supply is to make sure that we're meeting our own needs first and taking care of patients locally. But we do communicate with our sister centers on a daily basis. So if we ever have anything extra to spare, or we're into a situation where somebody else has a severe shortage. I mean, we see things because of weather, because of wildfires, because of different reasons why others areas may need our assistance. And provided that we're able to meet our local needs first, then we will certainly share our resources with our sister centers to make sure that every patient has the life-saving transfusion they need and that nothing would go to waste.
Wow. So with our community, with Banner Payson Medical Center, approximately, do you know how much blood they require, say, with blood transfusions, how many they do a year?
Sure. Yeah, you know, obviously that's going to depend on things that come up. We never know for sure, but typically about 325 blood transfusions a year are needed.
Wow.
Just at the Banner Payson Medical Center here. Again, that can go up and down depending on seasonal needs or planned procedures or other emergencies that come up, but it's a pretty significant amount that's needed here in this community and in the nearby area.
Wow. So then blood types. What role do blood types play in donating blood? What is the most needed, or so on?
Sure. Yeah, obviously we invite everybody to donate blood. All blood types are always needed. All blood types are important. You know, sometimes we might hear that certain types are needed a little bit more or more important than others. But the message I want to give everybody is everybody's blood types are needed, so please come on out and donate. With that being said, we really like to have donors with the O blood types come in, and especially O negative. O negative blood type is kind of the universal donor. Somebody with O negative blood can donate to anyone else that needs blood in an emergency situation. And there's a very small percentage of the population that has that blood type, so it's very important for O negative folks to come in. O positive blood type, you know, it's a little bit more prevalent, maybe about 38 or 39% of the population, but somebody who has O positive blood, their blood can go to anyone else that has a positive blood type. So we really like our O blood type folks to come in and donate, but again, I can't stress enough, it is so important for anybody who is willing to and interested in donating. Please come donate, because it's so important to make sure that we have that adequate supply on the shelves for the people that need it.
Are there times of the year, maybe where you need more blood, or there's a higher demand for blood than others?
Yeah, I'll let Sue jump in on this one and talk about some of the larger trends, but you know, typically right now is a perfect example, Chris. You know, we're in a time of year where typically our blood supplies are a little bit lower coming out of the holidays. You know, a lot of the kids in high school and colleges have been on holiday breaks, and younger people are a lot of our donor base that we really rely on. They've been on their holiday breaks, so we don't see as many donations coming in. People are on vacation for the holidays, and maybe we don't see as many donations coming in. So typically this time frame in January is one of our lower periods of time for blood supply on the shelves. So really we're interested in trying to build that back up to make sure that we have it for the folks that need it. Sue?
Yes, I'd like to add just a couple of things to that. Is that first of all, you know, Mark was talking about the high school and college donors. You know, those students need time to organize their blood drives after, you know, they come back to school. And so what most people don't realize is that teen donors are Arizona's largest blood donor group. They make such, you know, great blood donors, and every year about 20,000 blood donations are given by teen donors at high school and college blood drives. So when they do go on their holiday breaks, we greatly feel the impact, and that would be during the winter holiday season as well as in the summer. And then, of course, we all know that Arizona is a winter visitor destination, and at a time when our population is at the highest is when we tend to see blood donations dip their lowest, which is basically throughout the winter holiday season. Many patients that need to have essential surgeries, but maybe not necessarily emergency surgeries, are going to postpone those surgeries until after the holidays, because who wants to spend the holidays in the hospital or recovering from a surgery? So January is when hospital surgery schedules tend to be at their highest. More surgeries, more blood transfusions that are needed. And the other thing I'd like to kind of add in specific reference to transfusions that are needed in the Payson area, we have all different kinds of specialty hospitals throughout Arizona. And when patients come down to the valley is where you see a lot of those specialty hospitals that take on those more sophisticated cases that need specialized doctors or equipment. So oftentimes what we see, you may just be using 325 blood transfusions a year in Payson, but oftentimes what's happening is those patients are stabilized in Payson, and then they might be transferred to a specialty hospital that's bigger, that has the right medical professionals and equipment to meet their needs. And so the blood needs for people that live in Payson are probably in reality much, much higher than what you see just transfused in your own community.
Something that really stood out to me, Sue, what you said was teenagers. You're saying teenagers donate the highest percentage or highest amount of blood in Arizona?
Absolutely, they give about 1 out of every 6 blood donations, which means that they're providing about 1 out of every 6 blood transfusions. They may not have money to donate to charities, but boy, when it comes to the community blood program, those students make such a big impact. We're so grateful for their support, and so we greatly encourage all the Payson residents to support their team donors who are giving blood at the high school there, and make sure that they know how important they are and what a big role they play in saving lives.
Wow. So that leads into qualifications for donating blood. So, you say that that group, teenagers, give the most blood. At what age can you give blood?
Yeah, happy to answer that, Chris, but before I do that, let me just give a shout out to Longhorn Nation here. Payson High School, I'm going to be meeting with them at lunchtime today. They've got a student group, and Tasha Lindsay, who's their group advisor, they've got a blood drive coming up in February, and I'm going to be working with them to organize that and work with the students to get them involved in this worthy cause, and I'm just so excited to do that, so I'm really happy to be here to talk to them about that. As far as the qualifications for donating blood, in Arizona, you can be 16 years old to donate blood. So 16 and 17-year-olds can donate blood. They need to have a donor release and a permission form signed by their parent or guardian. But as long as they meet those qualifications, and are at least 110 pounds and in good health, generally they are able to donate blood. There is no top age for donating blood, so if folks are interested about that, we certainly encourage all people that are healthy and able to do so to come and give blood.
That's great, and that's exciting that our young people are that involved, are participate to that extent in blood drives. It's great to see.
It really is, and I have to tell you, one of the most rewarding parts of my job is having the chance to go and meet with and work with high school students. You just see the passion and the excitement and the fun that they have organizing blood drives, recruiting donors to come in, working the day of the drive at the registration table and at the snack table, and escorting donors from station to station. It's a really rewarding part of my job, but it's also really rewarding to see the youth in our communities getting involved with such a great cause and such a great organization.
So let's talk a little bit about the process of giving blood, especially for those that haven't given blood yet. or it's been a really long time.
Sure.
You know, and they wonder, they think, has it changed a lot? Is it different now? So what does that process look like?
Well, I can tell you, Chris, from firsthand experience, I've been a blood donor since I was in high school, some 30 plus years ago. Things have definitely changed over time, but the one thing I do want everybody to know, whether you're a recent donor or somebody that, as you said, has not donated for a while, you know, donating blood is really it's a safe, efficient, and, it's a painless process.
Mm-hmm.
It takes about an hour of time. And, the first part of that hour is maybe spending about 10 minutes or so going through some of your background information, making sure that you're currently healthy. We do a little mini physical, so you get a blood pressure check and a pulse check. We'll check your iron levels. So you'll walk away with a little current status of what your health situation is. Once you do that, you'll actually go and donate the blood. And the process of donating blood only takes about 8-10 minutes for most people. But we will have you sit there and just take a little bit of time to relax while you donate blood. And then after your donation is completed, we invite you to stay with us for about 15 minutes afterwards and enjoy some snacks and some water, some ginger ale, some sports drinks, and replenish your fluids and replenish your body system so that you can go on about your day. So that whole process takes about an hour, sometimes a little bit less for folks on the front end. And just that 1 hour that you give just has such a tremendous impact for other people that may be in need of that transfusion, either whole blood or other types of blood products.
Mm-hmm. Well, going back to what you said earlier, 600 units a day
Yes.
is what is on average required in Arizona.
Correct, yes. Yep.
Yeah. So also you mentioned hydration, getting rehydrated after you give blood, drinking some water. How important or what difference does it make to be hydrated before you give blood?
Sure, that's a great question, Chris. Thanks for asking it. One of the things that we really want to make sure that people do before they donate blood is they need to feel well that morning. We don't want folks that, are suffering from a cold or a flu or just don't feel good that day coming in to donate blood. But assuming that they do, one of the best ways that people can prepare to donate blood is to make sure that they're hydrated. Even this time of year in Arizona where it's cooler and a little bit drier, we still always have to hydrate a little bit extra. So the day before a donation, the day of a donation, we always ask people to hydrate a little bit extra. And water, sports drinks, juices, things like that are best. It's best to maybe avoid caffeinated beverages or some of the energy drinks right before you donate, but certainly water, juices, sports drinks are fine. We also ask folks to have a good low-fat meal before they come to donate. That is so important because when you are donating blood, you are going to be temporarily reducing your blood volume. So you want to make sure you're prepared for that so that after your donation, you can replenish it very quickly and be on about your way.
That is important, and I know that was something the last blood drive we had. Well, I don't know if it was the last one up here, but it was one at the American Legion, Post 69, and I donated blood at that drive, and it was so quick, painless. It was over before I knew it, and the technician,
Phlebotomist, technician. Yep.
She did a wonderful job. Did an amazing job.
We've got a great team. I've had the pleasure of traveling to a number of blood drives and seeing our teams in action, and they just get such great training, and they have such a great way of working with our donors, and I can't say enough about the great work they do.
Sue, could you maybe explain where the blood goes or who it helps? Because it isn't just for blood transfusions, but there are so many people and different people that are helped by blood that have different issues that require blood. So could you explain maybe some of that?
Oh, absolutely. And, it's one of the most wonderful things about donating blood is that, in that 1 hour of time that you spend at a blood drive, you're actually helping to save the lives for at least 2 patients. And that's because blood is separated into components so that each component goes to the patient that it's going to help the most. You wouldn't want to receive whole blood if you only needed the red blood cells or you only needed the plasma, because then we can separate it out and 2 patients can benefit. So red blood cells make up about 50% of the blood volume in your blood. And that's what's used primarily by surgery and trauma patients, basically people who have lost blood volume. Your red blood cells carry oxygen and nutrients throughout your body, so it's very important for those patients. And then oftentimes people who have different diseases or battling illnesses, a lot of times they're in a very weakened state. And doctors will often give red blood cell transfusions to help keep patients strong so that they, are strong enough to go through their treatments, and it aids in their recovery. Then the plasma in your blood, which is about 50% of the volume in a unit of blood, goes to help people who are suffering from internal bleeding. That's because plasma has the vital clotting factors that are in your blood. And so when somebody, has lost a lot of blood volume, they may be given plasma transfusions to help, clot up the blood so they don't bleed to death. It's also used very heavily by burn patients. Most people don't realize when they burn themselves and they get a blister that that's not water that's in the blister, it's plasma. So if you imagine someone who's been burned badly in a fire, how much plasma they might lose and need to have replaced. In fact, right here in Arizona now, several victims from the explosions that were in Hawaii are being treated at a Valley Burn Center right now and are most likely probably receiving plasma during their treatment. And the final component in your blood are platelets. Now, platelets are just a very, very small percentage of any blood volume, but they're actually what forms scabs when you cut your skin. So they're sort of your body's second line of defense against bleeding. And they're used very heavily by cancer and leukemia patients because cancer and leukemia patients go through chemotherapy treatments, and oftentimes those treatments can't distinguish between the good and the bad, so those patients may require platelet transfusions following their chemotherapy treatments to replace what they've lost.
Well, thank you, Sue. And let's talk about blood drives. We need to mention, I want to get out there the dates of upcoming blood drives. So when is the next blood drive, Mark?
So the big one that we're really excited to be here for, Chris, is next Monday, January 27th. It's the Payson Community Blood Drive. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Mount Cross Lutheran Church, and it's going to be located in their log cabin building over there. And we are so grateful to all of the group over at the church there that graciously open their facility for us 4 times a year to allow us to do these blood drives. We're just so excited to have the opportunity to do it. So again, that's next Monday, January 27th from 10 to 6. We still have plenty of appointments available for folks to come and donate blood. You can go to vitalant.org to make that appointment, or you can also call Vitalant at 877-258-4825, and they'll be able to help you make those appointments as well. And I know, Chris, you've had posted on the radio webpage and other places around the community some flyers about the blood drive, so you might also see some information out there as well. If you happen to see the poster, there's a QR code on there that you can scan on your phone that will take you directly to the site to make an appointment as well. So definitely encourage everybody to come out and do that. As I mentioned, we're just so happy that we can be here 4 times a year to do a big community blood drive. So we also have drives planned in April, July, and October. But the one we're focusing on right now is the one coming up next Monday on the 27th.
And it's so easy through the website. If you go to vitalant.org, and right on the top, the first category listed, first item listed is donate blood. And if you click on that, it takes you to a page, which is a portal, and you can select use my location, or you can put in your zip code and then do a search, and it will bring up all of the blood drives near you or in your area. So right at the top, it comes up Payson Community, Mount Cross Lutheran Church, Log Cabin on Monday, January 27th. You click See Times, and it'll give all of the times that are available for donating. You select one, whole blood, power red, are right now the two options, but if you select whole blood, click on that, and then it just asks for email, asks you to sign in, create an account. But it's so easy to get registered. And one of the things that I know right now, we've been doing a lot of giveaways of Arizona Renaissance Festival tickets. That's something that's being offered right now, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, if the rewards and the good feeling of giving blood isn't enough, you know, from time to time we do enjoy being able to provide some additional thank yous to our donors that we're blessed to have. And one of the thank yous that we have this time is a ticket or a voucher for a ticket for the Arizona Renaissance Festival. So I know there's a lot of folks in Payson and Rim Country that like to go down and visit that festival every year. Everybody that comes in will be given an opportunity to get a voucher for a complimentary Arizona Renaissance Fair ticket. So come on in.
That is great. So that is the blood drive that is coming up right around the corner. How about after that? What are some of the dates of other blood drives?
Sure, and as you mentioned, Chris, a minute ago, if you go on our website, vitalant.org, and put in your information for the Payson area, you'll see the other blood drives that are coming up. But if for some reason you're not able to join us next Monday, January 27th, we do have some other blood drives coming up. Payson High School will be doing a blood drive on February 8th. And then there's also some drives in March coming up at Culver's of Payson, the Lovejoy Hormone Clinic, and the Payson Ranger Station. So, you know, there's those and a number of others coming up as well. You know, we are just so grateful to all of the organizations, businesses, churches, healthcare clinics that join our cause by donating or by sponsoring blood drives throughout the year. So if for some reason you can't join us next Monday, plenty of other opportunities coming up in the area, and we would love to see you.
And I see also you mentioned Culver's, the Bloodmobile being there. That's March 5th, but then also on that day, it looks like down in Pumpkin Center. So people down in the Tonto Basin area,
Yes.
They don't have to drive up to Payson. It's very convenient at the Kiwanis Club in Tonto Basin and Pumpkin Center. It's a blood drive on March 5th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then also in Pine, March 11th,
Yes.
at the First Baptist Church in Pine, in the gym, another blood drive. So that's nice. I know for some of us, you know, it's not that bad of a drive, or, you know, for people living in the outlying areas, they come to Payson on a regular basis, but not everyone does. So it's great that you're doing these blood drives in those outlying communities as well.
Yeah, and again, that just goes back to our life-saving mission that we all feel is so important. You know, as we've talked about a couple of times, it's just so important for us to make sure that we have that available blood supply in Arizona for those folks that need it. So all of these great organizations that help us on our mission really provide an opportunity for donors to join us on that as well.
Well, it is that time. It's right at 10:30. So thank you both. Thank you, Sue, for joining us this morning. You are so welcome, and thank you, Mark.
You're very welcome, Chris. Thanks for having us. And, you know, again, we look forward to seeing everybody hopefully next Monday at the Mount Cross Lutheran Church for our big community blood drive. Vitalant.org or 877-258-4825 to make an appointment.
Well, that is great. Hopefully see you out there. Hopefully get all those times filled. And again, it's another successful drive. So thank you everyone listening and watching this morning. Hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. It's time to get back to the music here on KRIM. First, want to thank One Tom Plumber again for sponsoring our community spotlight program. I was thinking here in Sawmill, wanted to mention also Sawmill Theaters, and just we appreciate them and our studio here in the Sawmill Theater Complex. Well, music, back to the music now. Looking at Leonard Skinner, The Cars, Kinks, and more. But first, let's get a quick update from the National Weather Service.
With this morning's KRIM weather forecast for Mason and surrounding areas,
Thank you so much, Thew.
Thank you.
again.
Thank you. It was great to have the opportunity.